campaign. Shame really, because he's been going well for them.
Yeah, he's helped them a lot, but they seem to be able to work it with whoever's going into those pivot positions in the recent weeks, haven't they?
Yeah,
be it full-back or half-back, so they're doing pretty good.
That's it. Hull KR's winger Ryan Shaw has signed a new 2-year contract extension at Craven Park. Shaw, who's 24, had scored 20 tries in 25 appearances this season and has missed out on just one match under Tim Sheehan's. Swinton Lions have landed 5 new signings to bolster their squad ahead of their fight for championship survival. The financially troubled Lions have signed Widnes prop Dan Norman, halfback Thomas Coyle and former North Wales back Jack Hansen, whilst also adding Mark Nicholson, brother of Swinton's current hooker Anthony, and former Catalan youngster Ilias Regal. Paperwork on all 5 was completed before the deadline on July 21st, but were only in a position to confirm the signing due to recent issues, bolstering their side.
Well, they need to, because obviously none of the dual reg players have quite played enough to retain the dual reg, unfortunately, because of Wigan's own injury problems over the year.
Whitehaven have confirmed the departure of long-serving forward Dave Allen. The two parties came to a compromise agreement after it was confirmed his season was over due to a serious injury that has prevented him playing for the duration of the season. Allen, an Ireland international, joined the club in 2015 from Widnes and has made 51 appearances for the club. However, an ankle injury sustained during work away from the club has prevented him from building on that this season. Brad Fittler has included NRL stars Robbie Farah and Mitchell Moses in Lebanon's 40-man train-on squad ahead of this year's World Cup. The squad consists of 5 domestic Lebanese players, look out for me trying to read that in a minute, along with numerous NRL stars and a string of Australian-based Lebanese stars. A number of other high-profile stars could yet be added to the group, including Australia international Josh Mansour, who is awaiting clearance. The Cedars 40-man squad then, Mark Daoud of Asquith, Jamie Clark, Ahmed Elaz, Abrahim Al-Zakem, Eli Al-Zakem and Adnan Al-Zabadiah of the Auburn Warriors, Mario Bustani, Chris Saab, Nick Cassis of the Blacktown Workers, Kanye Kaleshi, Michael Leica, Raymond Mujali, all of Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, Iman Chadiak of Junay RLFC, Ben Shahoud of the Hills Bulls, Wael Harb, Raymond Sabat of Lycans FC, Bilal Marbani of the Manly Seagulls, Abbas Miski of the North Sydney side, Anthony Leyoun, Tim Manor, Mitchell Moses, all of Parramatta, Adam Dewey, Robbie Farah of South Sydney, Ali Abu Arabi of Tripoli RLFC, Danny Barakat, Mitchell Marmari, Tarek Al Mazri, Elias Sukar of Wentworthville, Alex Twal, Bernard Kairouz, Jalil Seve Debas, Christian Yasmin of West Tigers, James Elias of West Newcastle, and Tuvik El Haj of Wolves RLFC.
What's better?
Go on.
International squad announcements or RFL rules?
Oh, RFL rules is better. I prefer that. That's fun. That was all right. I feel like I feel like you can't necessarily criticise me for any of that. Although there'll be people of Lebanese or Australian persuasions that might pick up on some of that.
I tell you what, I think they've got a sensible mix there of potential star names within that who might be playing, who might pull on a shirt for them, and local players as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a nice approach because the next squad you're going to read out can't really pick any local players because the RFL systematically haven't really helped grow the game up above the border, unfortunately.
I suspect I'll have a better time reading these one out. Joe Wardle and Peter Wallace could play for Scotland in the World Cup after being included in the Bravehearts provisional squad. They are 2 of 5 NRL stars in the squad, with Lachlan Coote, Kane Linnett and Ewan Aitken all included following their involvement in last year's successful Four Nations. Head coach Steve McCormack has included 7 uncapped players in the provisional squad, with Rochdale's Ryan Manili joined by Kieran Moran, Davey Dixon, Brennan Wilkinson, Liam Fochlan and Lachlan Stein and Will Oakes. So, Scotland's provisional squad: Danny Addy, Ben Kavanagh, Kieran Moss and Will Oakes, all of Hull KR, Ewan Aitken of the St George Illawarra Dragons, Ryan Brearley of the Toronto Wolfpack, Sam Brooks and Frankie Mariano from Fev Rovers, Danny Brough and Dale Ferguson from the Huddersfield Giants, Brett Carter of Barrow Raiders, Lewis Clark from the Moore Park Broncos, Lachlan Coote, Kane Linnett, both of the North Queensland Cowboys, Davey Dixon from the Keighley Cougars, Luke Douglas from St Helens, Liam Forland from, I said Falkland and Forland there, so I'm not sure which one I'm going with, from the Maitland Pumpkin Pickers.
Oh, teammate of
Luke Dorns, Ben Halliwell, Alex Walker, both of the London Broncos, Liam Hood of Leeds Centurions, Joe McLean of the Gloucestershire Orioles, Ryan Manili from the Rochdale Hornets, Brett Phillips and Callum Phillips of Workington Town, Scott Plumbridge of the Mittagong Lions, or I'm sure that'll be the Motong Lions, Sheldon Powell Hobbs of the Northern Pride, Matty Russell of the Warrington Wolves, Dave Scott of the Batley Bulldogs, Lachlan Stein and Peter Wallace, both of the Penrith Panthers, Lewis Tierney from the Wigan Warriors, Johnny Walker of the Darlington Point Roosters, Joe Wardle of the Newcastle Knights, Oscar Thomas and Brandon Wilkinson, both of the Bradford Bulls. Wakefield's Adam Walker had also been included in the initial 36-man squad, but has since been removed and replaced by James Bell of the New Zealand Warriors and Campbell Graham of the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
I read that, Campbell Graham, and I thought, Graham Campbell is one of the most Scottish names I've ever heard of. Flip it round.
Campbell Graham is one of the most Australian names you can ever.
Really Kiwi, doesn't it?
It does.
He's an accountant from Auckland, isn't he, Campbell Graham?
he's a firm of accountants.
Who's got a good handicap at the weekend.
Yeah. Kimball Graham on the phone. Very good. Okay, and finally, a petition to set up and declare a vote of no confidence in RFL Chief Executive Nigel Wood has been signed by over 3,000 people. Our rugby league supporters have signed a petition created on change.org after the League Express last week revealed Wood was earning £314,000 a year. In the description, the petition features a timeline of events that have taken place since Wood was appointed to the role in 2007, including a drop in attendances, funding and participation. The petition, which currently has over 3,400 signatures, will be sent to the RFL, Super League clubs, Rugby League chairman and the Parliamentary Group for Rugby League, it claims. The full petition can be found at www.change.org/P/Nigel-Wood-RFL-vote-of-no-confidence. If you feel so inclined to vote or petition.
Do you know, this whole salary thing, when you think about all the things Nigel Wood spends his time doing, he actually probably does really very much earn such a high salary because he's simultaneously making every single refereeing appointment to destroy the seasons of every single team because he hates them all individually.
Yeah.
I'll
just add that Bradford Bulls' referee next week against Oldham works for the RFL and isn't technically a referee. He works in some kind of... He might be training to be a referee, but he's a development officer as well at the RFL.
Well, there are a lot of people within the RFL refereeing structure have multiple jobs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Such as Robert Hicks being the legal advisor of the RFL.
Well, they must have removed him from that position because they were advertising for that very role this week.
Well, maybe he needs an assistant.
Possibly. Yeah. That was head of legal. That was
okay.
I haven't applied.
And, you know, Thaler has his referee training role, and
true.
The Richardson Award had his.
Was he not involved in legal in some respects?
He had his role of ciphering away personal details of his colleagues to sell on to insurance firms.
Was he not there? Was he not working in human resources?
Yeah. But anyway, no. But in seriousness, I haven't signed this. I don't know enough about whether Nigel Wood is the great evil of all the things. It does set out some factual things that have occurred during his sort of tenure in senior positions within the organisation.
Yeah. But let's not forget that his tenure almost exactly coincides with the start of one of the harshest recessions the country's ever known. So I don't think it's fair to blame dwindling attendances and less funding on an inept Nigel Wood.
No, I think there's problems within the governing body, but there's problems within our wider society. There's problems within the communities that sit around rugby league in this country. Traditionally, there's lots of problems, and like you say, blaming everything on one bloke just because, bless him, he needs a lot of money to pay for enough fabric to buy his fucking awful massive suit.
See, this is the other thing, right? And I know you're joking, and I know you're one of the most right-on people out there, really, in terms of kind of giving everyone a crack and not judging people. So I don't aim this at you. But I'm fucking sick to death, right, of everyone's beef with Nigel Wood primarily seeming to be because he's a bit chunky, right? That seems to be like the first thing they say. Fat bastard can't run the rugby. What does it have to? What does his size have to do with his professional performance? You undermine your entire point if you hop on to change.org and sign a petition because you don't like Fat Nigel. Get a grip of yourself and make your decision based on a level and even-handed approach to people, for fuck's sake.
And, the fat knives gags aside, there is genuine evidence, not necessarily from my point of view to say the sport's gone backwards, because, it's increased revenue, profits, distributions to teams, in the professional game at least, and things like that. In his term, they raise more sponsorship money than ever before. They have the highest TV rights deal that they've ever before. Maybe some of those things are naturally market forced as well. So we've talked about the negatives of the market around the world and the places it affects, but there's been positives around the sports market too that have filtered through to rugby league at times, maybe not as much as we want them to. But let's kind of wonder how, like, the other things that they're saying about the negatives, most of them, those things have stagnated. Participation is a big issue. That's a big issue. But whilst Nigel Wood's getting blamed for every single significant decision at the top that affects the professional game, he's also being blamed for every single decision that affects the grassroots game. And maybe the problem is the remit of the role. And if the remit of the role is that massive that it warrants such a huge salary, but then within that there's lots of breakdowns because the scope is just too big for one person to effectively handle, then really that's where you start your review. Not with kick out this bloke who actually probably knows a lot more about the inner workings of things than anyone else possible, and has done some good things alongside definitely questionable and bad things.
Yes, I agree. Okay.
Don't change the fucking structure for next year. Just leave as is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apart from the League Leaders Shield, and let's have a proper think about it, people.
Yeah, no, it should absolutely be that way. Everything needs to be left fucking as it is. I'm saying that as a Bulls fan, but just leave it alone. Right, that's the news from around the world of rugby league. Then let's take a look back, first of all, at round 1 of the Super 8s. So to round 1 of the Super 8s then, Mark. Castleford last Thursday night was the venue, and it was the Tigers taking on St Helens. It finished 12 points to 26 in favour of the visitors from Merseyside in front of 6,849, refereed by Robert Hicks.
And we start the fan reviews with Brian Davies, who said, great result for Saints. Defence was excellent and needed to be, as they made lots of errors to give Cass opportunities. They also were quite happy to concede penalties and defend, not Luke Gale's greatest performance.
The Castleford plumber got in touch and said, surprisingly enough, I enjoyed the game. Shame my record has gone, but fuck it. We'll be back, as my local Chinese delivery man says, and he's a wise Chinaman, by the way. Water may be fluid, but it still grinds down granite eventually. However, I have not a clue what he meant, but as long as he keeps delivering me my 3-in-1 on time, who gives a fuck? Anyway, these taps won't fix themselves, so I'm out of here. What's a 3-in-1?
Some sort of Chinese takeaway thing. I'm not a big fan of Chinese takeaways.
I like a Chinese, but maybe that's like a local thing, like getting a 3-in-1. Who knows? Okay.
We've opened ourselves up there for that one.
That's fine. I ordered fish and chips in a Scottish chip shop once and just said, can I have fish and chips, please? And they looked at me weird. Apparently I meant to ask for a supper. Yeah, exactly.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Tyler Casfan said, a defeat had been coming for weeks. Good to get it out of our system, and now we go again next week and get back on the horse. Saints deserved it for the resolute defence and clinical attack. If we meet them again later in the tournament, we'll have them.
Frogmore said, great to beat the benchmark side at home. Tremendous defensive effort from the boys. Saints coming for that trophy. Who's going to stop us? Winky emoticon.
Aidan Stalker said, nothing better than watching James Roby get white line fever on a Thursday night. Credit goes to our defence with wonderful line speed too. I'm not sure how long we can sustain this form, but at the moment the chase is better than the catch. Woohoo.
Alfie Garner got in touch and said, well, that put it up Cass. The first 20 minutes defensively was massive for Saints to keep out Cass after all they threw at them. Superb game to watch and possibly the best 40 minutes I've seen this season. Take a bow, Saints. The question is, will that rattle Cass enough to throw them off kilter? After all, confidence is fickle. Just ask Wire about that.
Fatboy Rob said, all good things must come to an end, but better to get the home defeat out of the way now than in the semi. Saints defended like Cass, and Cass attacked like Widnes. Sorry, Ludo. So the scoreline didn't flatter Saints. We had plenty of chances, but Zach, Gale and Shenton were all half a yard behind.